Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we've got some serious news coming out of Cleveland that could really shake things up in the AFC North. If you've been paying attention to the Browns lately, you know that this team has been riding a roller coaster of highs and lows, but one thing has been clear. Myles Garrett, the star defensive end, has been a cornerstone of their defense, and his health is more crucial than ever as they gear up for the stretch run of the season. But right now, things aren't looking perfect for Garrett. According to ESPN's Daniel Oyefusi, Myles Garrett isn't expected to practice today because of an ankle injury. That's a big deal, especially considering how much he means to Cleveland's defense. Throughout this season, Garrett has been a force on the field. He's played in all 4 games so far, and his stats speak volumes: 18 tackles and 4 sacks. Those numbers aren't just impressive, they're vital for keeping opposing offenses in check. Every time Garrett is on the field, he's a game changer, capable of disrupting the backfield and putting pressure on the quarterback. And with the Browns preparing for their next game against the Minnesota Vikings, the question is, will Garrett be able to go? If you follow the team closely, you know that even a slight injury to him can have ripple effects across the entire defense. Now, here's the thing. The team is currently listing Garrett as day-to-day. That's a term we hear all the time in the NFL, but in reality, it can mean a lot of different things. If Garrett misses practice on Thursday and Friday, there's a real chance he might not play on Sunday. That would be a significant blow for Cleveland, especially considering how much they rely on him to anchor that defensive line. Without Garrett, the Vikings could find more room to operate offensively, which is something the Browns definitely want to avoid. Remember, the Vikings have some talented receivers and a capable quarterback, so losing Garrett could tip the scales in their favor. But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. Cleveland's defense has been solid this season, thanks in large part to Garrett's leadership and relentless effort. Even with this ankle issue, the team has shown resilience. The coaching staff and players are probably doing everything they can to ensure he's healthy and ready for Sunday. Sometimes, a player might just need a little rest to get back to full strength, especially after a physically demanding game like last week's against the Detroit Lions. That game was a tough battle, one that tested the Browns' resilience and defensive grit, and Garrett was in the thick of it. His 4 sacks this season demonstrate how much he's been able to impact games, and losing that pressure could be a huge setback. Now, fans, I know what you're thinking. You're probably worried about the implications of this injury. I mean, Garrett is not just a player, he's an emotional leader on that defense. His presence energizes the entire unit, and his ability to generate pressure is unmatched when healthy. But we also have to remember that the Browns have some talented players on that side of the ball, and they've been able to adapt when injuries happen. Still, the importance of Garrett's health can't be overstated, especially with a tough schedule ahead and crucial divisional games on the horizon. And speaking of the season, Cleveland has been quite interesting so far. They started a bit slow, but they've managed to turn things around in recent weeks, showing flashes of their potential. Their offense, led by quarterback Dillon Gabriel, has shown promise, especially after they decided to bench Joe Flacco in favor of the rookie. Gabriel has been developing nicely and brings a different dynamic to the offense. The coaching staff's decision to give him more reps signals a long-term plan to build around his talent. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, hasn't been involved much, and it looks like the team is sticking with Gabriel for now. That's a smart move, considering Gabriel's youth and upside, but the real test is how this team continues to develop and whether their defense can hold strong, especially if Garrett's injury lingers. Now, Cleveland fans, you know how unpredictable this season has been. There have been moments of brilliance, like that game against the Lions where they nearly pulled off a win despite some offensive struggles. But injuries like Garrett's can throw a wrench into those plans. It's critical for the Browns to have him healthy, not just for Sunday's game but for the entire stretch of the season. If he's sidelined for any extended period, it could open the door for division rivals to capitalize, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC North, where every game counts and the margin for error is razor-thin. And let's not forget the history here. Myles Garrett has been a pivotal part of Cleveland's resurgence on defense. Since arriving in Cleveland, he's been a consistent force, making Pro Bowls and earning recognition as one of the top edge rushers in the league. His ability to get to the quarterback and stop the run is a big reason why the Browns have been able to stay competitive in recent seasons. His leadership is also felt in the locker room, and his absence could impact team morale, something the coaching staff will be working hard to manage. Now, fans, I want to talk a little about the potential impact of this injury going forward. If Garrett can't play this weekend, it puts more pressure on players like Clowney and others on the defensive line to step up and fill that void. It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity for other guys to show what they're made of. Plus, it's a reminder of how critical health management is during this part of the season. Sometimes, a player's injury can define a team's fate for the week, or even longer if it's serious. And of course, we have to keep an eye on how the team responds. Cleveland has proven they're resilient, and even with Garrett possibly out, they won't roll over. They will fight, adapt, and find ways to win games. But the key to their success will be how quickly Garrett can recover and get back to his dominant form. The fans, the coaching staff, and the players all know that every game counts, especially in a division where every win or loss can tilt the balance of power. Looking ahead, this injury news adds an extra layer of intrigue to the upcoming game against the Vikings. It's a must-watch for Browns fans because it could be a defining moment of the season. Will Garrett be able to go? Will the Browns' defense be able to hold strong without him? And how will this impact their playoff push? These are questions that will be answered on the field, but one thing is clear. Cleveland needs all hands on deck, especially their star pass rusher, if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. And before I wrap up, I want to emphasize that injuries are part of the game, and every team faces adversity at some point. The key is how they respond, how they rally around their injured players, and how they adapt their game plan accordingly. Cleveland has shown resilience in the past, and I believe they will continue to do so. But this week, all eyes are on Garrett's ankle. If he's able to practice and get back to full health, it could be a huge boost for this team heading into what promises to be a critical stretch of the season. The Browns have the talent, they have the coaching, and they have the passion. Now it's about staying healthy and focused. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on Garrett's injury? Do you think he'll be able to play this weekend? How important is he to the team's success? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. The season is far from over, and every game is a new chapter in this incredible journey. Thanks for being with me today, and as always, go Browns.